Loneliness isn't simply the absence of people around you. It's a state of the soul that can consume you, even in a crowd, and a liberation that sometimes you find only when alone with yourself. In our modern world, where we're constantly connected, we paradoxically feel more isolated than ever before. Imagine a person who decides to completely isolate himself from society, not out of despair, but from a deep philosophical search. Walden, or Life in the Woods, by Henry David Thoreau, isn't just a hermit's diary, it's a manifesto of conscious solitude. Thoreau lived for 2 years in a cabin by Walden Pond, and his writings read like a meditation on the nature of true freedom. The author wasn't running from the world. He was seeking a way to live in it more authentically. Every page is infused with the silence of the pine forest and reflections on what a person truly needs for happiness. Reading Thoreau, you understand, solitude can be not a prison, but liberation from society's imposed needs and expectations. This book is for those who are tired of the hustle and seek meaning in simplicity. But loneliness can also be painful, destructive. John Williams, in his novel Storr, created a portrait of a man who remains lonely among people his entire life. William Storr is a university professor whose life seems gray and insignificant. An unsuccessful marriage, indifferent colleagues, an estranged daughter. The novel is written with such piercing honesty that every page resonates with the pain of recognition. Williams doesn't give the reader false comfort. He shows loneliness as it is, quiet, constant, almost invisible to others. And yet in this bitterness, there is dignity. Storr finds solace in literature, in rare moments of understanding with students, in beauty that others don't notice. This is a book about how even the most ordinary life can be filled with meaning if you find the strength to seek it. All the books I'm discussing today can be found through the links in the description. Some of them are affiliate links. This helps develop the channel and create more quality reviews for you. Sometimes loneliness becomes an almost physical presence, as in 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez. The Buendia family is doomed to isolation, and each generation repeats the mistakes of the previous one in an endless cycle of passion and oblivion. Márquez's magical realism transforms loneliness into a mythological force. It hangs over the town of Macondo, like a curse, but also like a blessing. The novel's characters are lonely even in love, even in family, even in revolution. Each is trapped in their own world of fantasies and obsessions. Reading Márquez is like diving into a feverish dream, where loneliness takes on colors, smells, and sounds. The author shows that isolation can give birth to both madness and creativity, both destruction and incredible beauty. In our era of digital communication, Loneliness on the Net by Janusz Wiśniewski sounds particularly relevant. This novel correspondence between two people who find each other on the internet and carry on deep, intimate conversations without ever meeting in person. Wiśniewski explores the paradox of modernity. We can be closer to a stranger thousands of kilometers away than to someone sleeping in the next room. The novel's heroes share their most intimate thoughts, support each other through crises, fall in love, and all of this through a screen. The author doesn't condemn this form of intimacy, but questions what happens to our capacity for real contact. The book reads like a modern parable about how technology simultaneously connects and disconnects us. I'll conclude with a book that explores loneliness as a creative force. Solitude, A Return to the Self by Anthony Storr shows that the ability to be alone with oneself isn't a flaw, but a gift. Storr, a psychiatrist and writer, analyzes the lives of great creators from Beethoven to Virginia Woolf and proves that their genius was often born precisely in moments of deep solitude. The author debunks the myth that happiness is possible only in relationships with other people. He shows that inner life can be no less rich and meaningful than social life. Reading Storr, you begin to value time spent alone in a new way, not as forced isolation, but as an opportunity for growth and self-knowledge. Each of these books reveals different facets of loneliness, from philosophical choice to painful isolation, from creative solitude to digital intimacy. Together, they create a complete picture of one of the most complex human experiences. In a world where loneliness is often perceived as a problem to be solved, these authors remind us that sometimes it's precisely in the silence alone with ourselves that we find the most important answers. How do you relate to loneliness? Do you see it as an enemy or an ally? Share in the comments. I'm always interested to know your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more deep conversations about books that change us.